Okay, live and kicking. Slightly late with clicking my go live button. Who's here? Frank. Frank and Megaleech. Hello to you fine gentlemen. How is the world treating you? Mix my drink with my finger. Because that's what all the cool kids do. They don't do anything old school like use a spoon to mix. No. That would just be strange, using a spoon to mix. So mix that a bit more. Made a lemon, lime, and bitters, and I put half a shot of the chili liqueur in to give it a bit of zing. I think I'm actually going to get a spoon so I can. Might even get my mixing spoon. My mixing spoon. Aviator, one more day till Easter. You only had a 1 day weekend last week, so you get a 4 day weekend. Yes. And we get a very very weird Easter for the US, with just when they're on the cusp of the coronavirus getting completely out of control. You have all these state governors who are too scared to shut down churches. So all the churches are going to be full of people for Easter services, and in the next 2 to 4 weeks, the both infection rate and death rate in the US will skyrocket. So that's something fun to look forward to. Nug, how are you this fine evening? Mrs. Angry was pointing out to me earlier, Australia had its 50th recorded death today from the coronavirus, which is, of course, quite low when you look around the world. Both our infection rate and our death rate is quite low. The US has got 400,000 confirmed cases. Australia, 6,000. And was that? Yeah, 50 deaths. And we have now seen quite consistent leveling out of new cases, which is pretty goddamn good achievement, quite honestly. God, what's that fucking map doing to me? Stop it. Yes, so yeah, only 6,000 cases, 50 deaths. So keeping it under 1% so far. US 400,000 cases, 12,000, 13,000 deaths. So what's that work out? I'm going to do some very, very rough maths. That's over 3%. So 3 times worse than us. And there was another map that said the Google map said infections per million population or whatever. No, is a thumbnail about 5G masks being burned, or general stupidity from governments. It's just the world. The world is very stupid. You're right. The people who've taken the bizarre, very stupid Google coronavirus map, it has a little stat infections rate in terms of population, cases per 1 million people. So saying the global average, which is probably an absolutely meaningless number, but it's saying the global average is 184 cases per million people. Australia is slightly above that with 234 cases per million people. China, because of its massive population, is recording 58 cases per million people. I don't believe the numbers coming out of China are real, quite honestly. But you look The UK is about 4 times worse than Australia. Spain is more than 10 times worse than Australia. Italy is about 10 times worse than Australia. The United States is like 5 times worse than Australia in terms of rate of infection. And I think the US is probably really underreporting as well. But yeah. Hey, Adele, how are you? Frank, you were passing with Simon the Sorcerer when my stream started. Okay. One of the Unspeakable Horrors heads was talking independently from the rest before realizing it's here. There you go. I think it's fair to call me one of the Unspeakable Horrors. Shelfwarmer, I do hope you are well. Tom Barnett said I have never heard of Tom Barnett, but if he's saying it's impossible to catch a virus and advocating raw chicken, I applaud him in that. He should continue to eat raw chicken, preferably unrefrigerated, and let salmonella take care of the rest, quite honestly. It's kind of like all these people saying, it's my right to go to church at Easter. Okay, in this current climate, if you are that much of a fucking moron that you want to go to a really crowded gathering, go for it. Bloody Darwin effect. Miss Kavi, you like my Totoro t-shirt? It's from one of those t-shirt a day sites, the soot sprites and one of the little spirits. I think this is a T Fury shirt. I used to get T Fury all the time, and then there was a period when I didn't, and I mentioned to someone, I get T Fury shirts. They said, oh, T Fury shit, man. And I looked and something had gone wrong with their business. They were failing to deliver shirts. So I never had a problem with them. They were failing to deliver shirts. Something up. I was like, oh. And I got some from another shirt site, because there's a few of them. Can't remember what it's called. But yeah, neither their designs nor quality was as good as T Fury. So I kind of hope that T Fury... I don't need new shirts. I'm going to go back on T Fury and get some more shirts, but yeah. No, can they do live stream church services? Lots of churches are, because of course churches have been closed in the vast majority of places. Scummo was saying he was going to allow churches to be workplaces over Easter. And what that would mean is they could have one person per 4 square meters and the people would all have to distance. So I don't know if that just means the celebrants or some people in the congregation, but it's a recipe for a fucking disaster, quite honestly, how the church is going to play. So the idea is that 100 square meter church could have 20 people in it, and they would have to stay there, 1.5, 2 meters away from each other. Recipe for disaster. But in the US, particularly in the southern states, the governors have been too scared to shut down churches, and all these people are going to service. And in fact, there was this brief rumor that the US infection rate might be leveling out. It isn't. It's continuing to climb. If you look over the last week, where are we now? The 7th. So if we go back to April Fool's Day, they had 200. It's almost doubled in a week. Their overall confirmed cases has almost doubled in a week. It's 213,000 on April 1st. 2nd, it was 243,000, so up 30,000. Then 275,000, another 30,000. 308,000, more than 30,000 again. 337, so about 30,000 again. 366, about 30,000 again. And 396, 30,000. So it's like 30,000 new cases being confirmed every day for the last week. The cases have almost doubled in the last week. And there was this rumor that, it's leveling out. And their stock market briefly rallied on the rumor that it was getting under control in the US, which again proves that the stock exchange, Wall Street, is not real. It's slot machines for the mega wealthy. It's made up. The stuff they do has no bearing on how profitable companies actually are. It's all rumors and wishful thinking. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And Mississippi is just one of the states where they're all going to fucking get infected over Easter. I'll make the ugly prediction now. You think it's bad now in the US, it's going to get nightmarish in the next month. By the end of April, it's going to be at absolute nightmare proportions. If you look at like almost doubling in the week, and I think it's actually going to get worse. So even conservatively, it'd be 1 million cases by the end of April. There you go. I've stuck my neck out. And I've predicted the US having at least 1 million confirmed cases by the end of April. We shall see. I don't even like saying things like that, so it's really bleak, isn't it? But that's the way it is. What did I see that's smile-inducing compared to that? I posted a picture. I'll show it to you. In fact, there is a Facebook site for people making an event of putting their bins out, dressing up to put the bins out. It's called the Bin Isolation Outing. It's an excuse to get out of the house to the end of the driveway. So Mrs. Angry and I dressed up. I'll show you the photo now. Hey, Annette, how you doing? How you doing, David? And Justin, did I say hello to you before, Justin? Right, I was going to share a screen. Let me just show it to you. There we go. So hopefully you can see that. Can I do a full screen thing? Will that make it any better? That doesn't make it any better, really. That's Mrs. Angry and I posing as natural enemies, the gorilla and the banana. But natural enemies coming together to put the bins out. Yes, that's that. Yes, I am wearing a Totoro t-shirt. I could wear a Totoro. I'll probably, okay. I have a Totoro onesie, and now the weather's a bit cooler. I will actually wear, and this is Totoro characters from the movie. I've got an actual Totoro onesie. I'll wear the Totoro onesie on another live stream. Musical Aviator, a bunch of trumpeters, on Facebook posting about playing Last Post from. Ugh. Oh, sorry. I got so confused by that for a moment. See, I'm so used to just ragging on Trump supporters. I thought you were calling them trumpeters. You remember when onesies were a thing? How long ago was that? Like 4 or 5 years ago? Was it that long ago? Onesies were everywhere. They were a thing. And ordered the family some onesies. What do we get? We had a Pikachu one and Totoro one, and we had a few. I also have a skeleton onesie. I could wear a skeleton onesie on another live stream. David, imagine if Trump and Pence died from COVID-19. That'd be sad. Under American laws, that would make Democrat Nancy Pelosi the president until the next election. Third in line is the Speaker of the House, currently Democrat Nancy Pelosi. She would be president until the next election if they both drop dead. which would just be weird and wild. Yes, Frankie the Skin. Natural enemies like Englishmen and Scots, or the Welsh and Scots, the Japanese and Scots, or Scots and other Scots. Damn Scots, they ruined Scotland. And you think onesie should be the official uniform for the lockdown. It was getting cooler. I can warn, because you might not be surprised to learn, the Totoro onesie is quite warm. Quite warm. I wouldn't wear it in summer, put it that way. But I could wear it now. There we go. Justin saying Nancy Pelosi's older than Sanders. She looks it. She certainly looks it. But if that very unlikely circumstance came to pass, she'd only be president for a very short time till the next election. And who the fuck knows who that would be? I'm amazed Joe Biden hasn't dropped dead. He's been looking like a walking corpse. They've been doing Weekend at Bernie's shit with him for a while. He's great, ready. You need to do some laundry this Easter. I have to do it every weekend. Easter's no different. Yes, I bloody laundering a bunch of work clothing, various things. Oh, I'm not going to wear these anymore. Wash them. David, you know they have a minimum age for being president. Should they have a maximum age? Yes. I think politics generally should have a maximum age. Otherwise, it gets too heavily dominated by old people who won't be around to see the horrible consequences of their decisions. Yes, there's far too many, far too old people in positions of power around the world. What's that? Justin, why do you think US leadership looks like Soviet Union leadership before they appointed Gorbachev? Oh, you mean that they were all sort of sickly and didn't last long and died? I've got to struggle to remember their names. Like, after Stalin, he had what's his name? Bang the shoe on the table. God, I've blanked. But he got replaced by Brezhnev. And then you had the rapid succession of the ones who didn't last long, like Chernenko and the one who really didn't last long. I think he was literally a Boris, wasn't he? No, Andropov. There was Andropov and Chernenko. Was there another one before Gorbachev? There was that period where they didn't last long. Like Stalin obviously lasted a long time. Khrushchev lasted a while. Brezhnev lasted quite a while. Then there was a couple who didn't last very long at all. And then Gorbachev, and who, of course, introduced glasnost and perestroika. Is that his Russian name, Megalich? Joseph Huguemin's son? I was thinking of Nikita Khrushchev. No, what's Donny doing is welcome the introduction of glasnost. Wait, the Soviet idea is mighty. He's just a fucking tool. He is such a fucking tool. His insistence that there's going to be... he's just a desperate fucking loser. His insistence that some miracle will stave off coronavirus so he'll look great is just... He's so out of his depth, it's horrifying. Yes, David, I think Gorby is still alive. He retired from public life. He's still around. Yes, particularly wisely getting out of the way of someone like Putin, who's pretty goddamn ruthless. You don't want to be taking the limelight away from Putin in the last couple of decades. He doesn't really like anyone else having their turn in control. Oh, God, that was a weird left field thing you did. Megaleech, Dr. Evil's henchman, Joseph Human's son, 40-year-old actor best known for playing Dr. Evil's shoe-throwing henchman Random Task in 1997's Austin Powers International Man of Mystery. That's right, he throws the shoe and hits Austin in the head. And he's, who throws a shoe, honestly? I thought for a second maybe you were referring to the guy who threw the shoe at George Bush, which was fucking hilarious. And I was amazed that George Bush, it's like ninja dodged the two shoes. Don't like George Bush, but I have to give credit for those moves. I feel quite convinced if I was standing there, someone threw a shoe, I'd be sort of, he's throwing a shoe. Ow! Ow! Wait, is he throwing another shoe? Ow! Stop throwing shoes. I don't think I would have dodged them, honestly. Yes, Justin, I heard the Wisconsin primary went ahead. It was all very strange. That whole primary thing is like fucked up now, where it's just like Biden stumbling to the nomination. It's just like everything about it is completely untrustworthy. It's just turning into a fucking train wreck. Still, there's nothing quite like seeing the power of all the institutions, the media, and the controlling factors of the Democratic Party just all going, ignore Bernie Sanders. This is the person you're voting for. And it worked. And I don't mean that as in it was corrupt, it was cheating, it was evil. It was just flexing their power when they said, this is the guy. People voted for him. And it was quite stunning to see. Adele, can I donate beer? Oh, you can donate beer to essential workers. If you're an essential worker, you can register for local beer through Good Beer. Oh, that's nice. No, you can't. This chat thing won't let you post web addresses. If you message it to me via the Facebook Messenger, I'll post it. So, Adele, if you message it to me via the Messenger, I will post it here. And just tell me when you've done it, because that's a good one. Local beer through Good Beer Co. That's nice. Yes, there's all sorts of local things happening. Lots of people are doing good things, which is nice to see, honestly. Frank, you reckon Biden has a chance, but no guarantee. You reckon Bernie would guarantee a second term of Trump? I disagree completely, and you're betting the Electoral College would go completely against the vote. I think Biden's going to get fucking destroyed by Trump. Absolutely fucking destroyed. I hope I'm wrong. I desperately hope I'm wrong. But I think he's going to get fucking destroyed. I think Sanders would have easily beaten Trump because Sanders supporters are actually passionate, and Sanders is the only Democratic candidate that could actually take votes away from Trump because he has that angry white man demographic on his side. Sanders actually has a massive, enthusiastic voter base. Sanders would cruise past Trump, but I think Biden's going to get absolutely crushed by Trump. Nope, that's not what. Ooh, fuck that. This has been difficult for me. Try again. Right. Ugh. God, I hate when they put this tracking shit on URLs. Let's delete it just on fucking principle. It's this one. So that's if you're what is it? An essential worker. You're register for beers. That's a good summary, David. Sorry, Annette. Angry dads vote for Trump. Angry sons vote for Sanders. Yeah, and without Sanders, the angry sons vote for Trump as well. And I agree with you, Justin. Republicans seem too stupid to realize they're killing their own voters, which is very weird. No, Frankie, it's all conjecture, so it's pointless getting too worked up about it. But I disagree 100% the idea that you think the Electoral College would go against Sanders. They wouldn't dare. If he won enough states to get the Electoral College votes, they would give them to him. There might be some minor differences, but they would not dare go against the voters and preference Trump if he didn't actually win the vote in that state. But again, it's all conjecture. It's not going to come to pass, so it's pointless getting sort of too fixated on it. Oh, thanks for that, Adele. So, okay, the people who qualify for that beer thing include garbage collectors, emergency services, health admin, grocery shop workers. Those are all good things. The anti-socialism things are hanging out from McCarthyism. Yeah, but repeatedly, survey after surveys showed the only people who were negative towards Sanders were over 60s. Every younger demographic was over. No, okay, Frank, you're misinterpreting what the Electoral College did. Clinton won the overall popular vote, but Trump won more states than her. The Electoral College gave their votes in line with the voting within the states. So under the Electoral College system, Trump was the winner. There was no taking it away from Clinton. People fixating on the popular vote honestly need to shut the fuck up, because that simply isn't how their electoral system works. And I have big problems with going purely 100% on popular vote for something like that. The Electoral College takes it too far, but you need some sort of balancing so that sparsely populated rural and semi-rural areas get better than per capita recognition, or they'd have no electoral power whatsoever, and that just isn't fair. The Electoral College did not go against Clinton. They followed the rules exactly. Clinton fucked up spectacularly on a tactical level by not campaigning heavily in what they call the battleground states. Her campaign took it for granted that she'd win, and they put no effort in, and the voters apparently did not like it. Justin, you think Corona will turn the tide against Trump? Oh, who fucking knows? The world's stupid. The world's insane. Anything can happen. But yes, when the coronavirus gets completely out of control in the US, which is almost inevitable. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I don't see a future where coronavirus doesn't get completely out of control in the US. Can't imagine that would work well for Trump. it's a bit like Greens getting more votes than the Nationals but winning less seats. Yeah, it's got to do with the seats that you can test. The Greens can test urban seats with many, many, many more voters. You've got to strike a balance between not completely disenfranchising rural voters and not giving them completely out of scale power either. In the US, the system is just fucking broken. Both the Electoral College and the Senate electoral system is completely fucking broken, and absurdly underpopulated areas have more electoral power than places that have 100 times more voters. The US system's just fucking broken. Frank, it's not just Florida. Florida is a key state. There's a whole bunch of them. Wisconsin. Look, I will do a good old Google search. I'll say spell key battleground states. That's the phrase they always use. The swing states. Closest results in the 2020 election will likely happen in Arizona, Florida, so that is right up there, Maine, Michigan, Minnesota, New Hampshire, North Carolina. That's a lot. Wisconsin. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's like, okay, they've just done a top 10 there. Swing states, competitive states, determining swing states. So yeah, there are certainly half a dozen that expected. Oh, Justin, thanks. Look up 270 to win. 270 to win. Consensus, 2020 president consensus, electoral map as of April 3. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, here's an interesting map. They're saying what their prediction, they're predicting 232 electoral votes to the Democrat, 204 to the Republican, with 102 in doubt. So that's a huge amount. And the ones that they say are in doubt are Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, with Nevada kind of in there. No, that's not Nevada. What's NE? What the hell is NE? New England? No. What the hell is NE? What state is NE? So this website, 270 to win, is pitching strongly towards a Democrat win, which I think is a terrible, dangerous thing to believe in, because nothing good happens in this world. Nebraska. Thank you. And he's Nebraska. Of course, right there in the middle. So that's an interesting forecast for there. It's this forecast makes it highlights it as being more difficult. In fact, much more difficult for a Republican nominee, because they've got shades. They've said they've said 188 electoral votes definitely going to a Democrat, 35 probably going to a Democrat, 14 likely to go to a Democrat. And on the Republican side, they're only saying 121 definitely going Republican, 18 probably going Republican, 61 likely to go Republican. So they're much more sure of the numbers for the Democrats. But then you've got this massive 101 electoral votes up for grabs. Yeah, but yes, the battleground states will be Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan. Is that Pennsylvania? That's Pennsylvania. North Carolina, Arizona. And of those, Florida has the most electoral votes, which is why Florida can swing things. Just imagine if Australia had an electoral college. The electoral college is fucking stupid and bad and dumb. See, what we have, if I look up on a map, an Australian electoral map. Ooh, that's interesting. Seats. What's there? No, that's not what I wanted. What does it say in images? That might be it. Only show me large ones. That's what she said. Is that it? Ugh. No, that's from some stupid, obnoxious subreddit. What I was going to try and show was you get when you look at a map, the heavily populated areas have lots of seats clustered, and then as you go into the rural areas, the seats cover a huge geographical area, but have fewer actual voters than urban seats. And that's the thing. You need to strike a balance between not completely disenfranchising rural voters and not giving them too much power either. Catherine, what are we talking about? Talking about elections. It's just the Wikipedia one didn't show up. Wikipedia Australian electoral map, not Mao. Images. Oh, is that actually it? Okay. Open image in new tab. Okay, that's really small and doesn't help. Ugh. Tools. Yes, you are. Size. Large. Leon's getting larger. What's this? What does that look like? Ugh. All right. I'm going to try and bring it up and see. Okay. Okay, this illustrates what I was trying to say. Okay, I'm going to share this. Where are we? Chrome map. I think it's this one. Okay, now look at this map. You can see how, Western Australia has just got a couple of giant seats, And that little bit there is Perth, and you can see there's a whole bunch of seats in Perth. And same as New South Wales, you've got these giant seats there. And this little bit here, Sydney, you can see there's huge amounts of seats in Sydney. Again, Queensland has these giant seats. And this little bit's Brisbane, and there's lots of seats in Brisbane. Victoria, because it's a smaller state, doesn't have such giant, but it has some very large ones. And then clustered in Melbourne, lots and lots of seats. And even though, in the seats in the metropolitan areas cover much, much smaller geographical areas, they have many, many more voters than these huge rural things. Australia does a reasonable job of balancing having representation for rural areas without it being over-representation. Yeah, because you have Northern Territory only has 2 seats, Darwin and not Darwin. I see people asking about postal votes in the US. Probably. This is the other thing. Not that they're ever particularly trustworthy, but this particular US election, the results are going to be really untrustworthy. God, what's going to happen? I don't know, maybe nothing. But, you get those fringe nuts. Like, we've actually seen, like, one dude was determined he was going to bomb a hospital because coronavirus was a plot against white people. Another guy derailed a train thinking he could aim it at that hospital ship like a missile. So it helps that these people so far who've had these homicidal reactions to their own ignorance and fear, it's helped that they've been very, very stupid. But what's going to happen as time goes by? People who follow such things know all the right-wing chat boards are just buzzing with talk about how can they exploit coronavirus to accelerate the collapse of the United States, because their big thing is society is sick and wrong, and their Nazi ideology should be on top. They think the collapse of civilization is inevitable, so they want to accelerate the collapse of civilization because they think they will do well out of it. It's just really fortunate that most of them are very fucking stupid, but they aren't all stupid, and even some of the stupid ones are very determined. So given the stupidity that has already bubbled up to the surface, I shudder to think what will happen for the rest of the year. Shelf warmer in the UK, people burning down 5G phone towers. People are fucking stupid, basically. People are fucking idiots. So that's my summary answer for everything. Why do these things happen? Why does that happen? Because people are fucking idiots. And this is the danger in the US. A lot of people are violent, heavily armed idiots. And it is very concerning what might happen over the rest of the year. And look, what will happen if, they do this postal voting? And I mean, I'd always said all along, if Trump loses an election, he was just going to say, it was stolen from him. He was always going to say that. And if things happen, like, there's postal votes or there's questions and whatnot, he'll have additional ammunition to say to his psychopathic base, the election was stolen. He really won it, and they've stolen from him. And God knows what they'll do. Maybe nothing. Maybe many things. Maybe something bad, because They are not great people. They are in fact very, very bad people. Yes, Boris is not just still in hospital, 2 nights in intensive care so far. I mean, yep. It's like, you'd have to think, okay, they got him in intensive care, they're not mucking about. He's now, again, with his age and the shape he's in, and he's bad enough they've got him in intensive care. I don't know, you'd have to rank him at about a 50-50 chance of popping his clogs at the moment. Frank, he did say in 2016, if he didn't win his read, he never wanted to win. It is overwhelmingly clear he never wanted to win. All he was doing was feeding his ego, raising his public profile, and setting himself up to cash in on the increase in his public profile. I mean, just look at the way the pictures of him at his victory party and what, for someone who just won the most powerful political office on the planet, he just looks so depressed. Like, it was not what he wanted. He absolutely, categorically didn't want to win. Now, he's certainly, having won, he's used the office to feed his ego massively, and also to steal hundreds of millions of dollars. But yeah, but he never wanted to win. He had no interest. It was just an ego thing. And he's done his best to boost his ego since he's been in there, but he's clearly unhappy a lot of the time. There's a guy in Spain who recovered from COVID-19. He was 101. There's been a few people, very old people, and it's like, look, no one said, even for the most at-risk people, that it's 100% fatal. Like, if they got to the intensive care stage, it's 100% fatal. So there's always an element of luck. It would require a medical expert to tell you if there was such a thing as good genetics that help you beat these things. I was having this conversation with Mrs. Angry the other day. It's like, I don't really believe that's a thing. That person's metabolism might be such they got really lucky and their system's good at fighting off illness, but not genes. Because I remember, the oldest person in the world a few years back was this French woman. She's like 120 something. No one's the oldest person in the world for long, because they die usually within a year or two of being the oldest person. Initiator, hello to you. But I do remember an interview with this woman who was the oldest person in the world for a while. She's French. I think she was like 120 something. And she outlived not just her children, but her grandchildren. And her grandchildren didn't die young. Like, they were dying at 70, 80. It's just that she lived to 120. So it was not good genes, because it didn't pass on to her children and grandchildren. She outlived not only her children, she outlived her grandchildren as well. So I think there's a massive element of luck, quite honestly. That's an interesting one, David. Your mum's 91, and you can see on her family tree in the 1860s, she had ancestors who lived to 80 or 90. That's no small feat. That is no small feat at all. Oh, gosh. Catherine, too scared to walk out your door because there's been 2 ambulances in your units this week. I don't blame you. That would be most unsettling. Justin, there might be something to that. Again, this is the sort of thing I'd go to a medical expert for. But yes, possibly died as a kid could influence your health later on. That has a sort of reassuring common sense aspect to it. But yeah, again, I don't know. That's the sort of thing I'd get a medical expert in. What I'm saying. Frank, you've only ever needed treatment for streptococcus. Defeated everything else. I don't think I've had to be treated for an infection. Unless you count getting antibiotics. I'm sure I've had antibiotics for like a lung infection, like when a cold turned into a lung infection. But yes, I guess maybe you did mean that, actually. that type of thing. Annette, you reckon Catherine should just walk around spraying Glen 20 everywhere? That could work. That absolutely could work. Everyone likes the shirt. I should have worn it sooner. I haven't worn this for a little while. I was just going through T-shirts in the cupboard today and went, that one, I haven't worn that for a while. Mrs. Angry, I think this is Mrs. Angry's favourite T-shirt as well. Everyone likes the Dotto T-shirt. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's a lottery, Dave. You see, your mum had a brother who died at 55. He was an alcoholic, but her other brother, who was also an alcoholic, died at 85. It's so hard to tell. Glen 20. I'm not a fan of Glen 20. I don't think there's any in the house, actually. Don't know if you can even, of the things that are out at the supermarket, I think anything that's labeled antiseptic or antibacterial is so hard to get because people went a bit nutso with their purchases. Oh, I went to Costco today and they didn't have toilet paper. They did have everything else. But I went to get some flour for young Ms. Angry to continue her baking exploits. And I think everyone had seen, that's like a 5-kilo bag of flour from Costco that I got last time. And this time, you can't even really tell how big that is, but that is a huge bag of flour. The only flour they had was 12.5 kilos. So it was either buy a stupidly huge bag of flour or buy no flour. So I bought a stupidly huge bag of flour. That'll last a long time. 12.5 kilos of flour. And Nisha, do you always got toilet paper? Woolies my area has been like fully stocked with toilet paper for a week or so now. I mean, I haven't been there for a little while, but the last 2 times I went there, they were fully stocked with toilet paper. Their stocking of things was getting better. They didn't have flour last time I went, and there was very little in the way of pasta, but they did have it. David, you got 55 rolls. I've got a lot. Gecko, yeah, flour can go bad. You can get weevils in it. I think there's Fletcher briefly said hello. I think every now and then StreamYard does not play well with Facebook comments. But yes, Fletcher, because you popped up and then disappeared, and now I can see your comment again. So I don't know what that's about. And anything people can buy multiple, they're buying multiple. Yeah, most of the supermarket have a 1 or 2 item limit on thing. True, Frank, if flour got wet, even if it didn't go moldy, it could be unusable. Actually, no, that's an optical illusion, Catherine. It's not halfway through. It's probably 1/10 of the way through. Or 20%. She might have used 1 kilogram. She made bread yesterday or the night before yesterday. Is making a sourdough pizza. She did an experiment one today we had for lunch. It was nice. Which she wasn't particularly happy with, but she learned from that. She's going to make everyone sourdough pizza tomorrow night for dinner, which will be nice. I bought a wacky apocalypse food from Costco today. Dehydrated shredded potato for making hash browns. I had that once before, ages ago, and it's not bad. Like it's this dry, plasticky looking stuff, but you soak it in water and it reconstitutes, and then you can make hash browns. I'm gonna test run maybe this weekend. I don't know, but I'm gonna test run some of it. I'm gonna make hash brown waffles. Got a waffle iron over there. Got to make hash browns. Well, yeah, Fletcher. Deb is powder. This is it's like grated potato that's been dehydrated. Um, uh, my mum used to make the stuff with fresh potato. Grate the potato and then like mix it with some egg and stuff so it'd bind, and then fry that. And for some reason, we called those potato crabs. They didn't really look like crabs, but we called them. I grew up calling those potato crabs. Americans would call them hash browns. They're very roughly shaped, not nice, neat, square hash browns. Initiator gets means who needs 10 kilos of chicken. Yeah, I've got after a couple of weeks of mince being hard to get for the last week or so. Mince has been back on the shelves, but yeah, because I bought some before, so we've got mince in the freezer, and got some chicken in the freezer, some other Costco things in the freezer. So we could actually, if we got completely cut off from the outside world today, so long as there was still running water and power and gas, could probably last 4 weeks, with no resupply. Be getting pretty desperate by the 4-week mark, but I reckon it actually probably survive 4 weeks without resupply. So so long as we still had water, power, and gas. Shelfwoman, that's interesting. You're saying there's plenty of mince where you are, but steaks below. It was the complete opposite where I am. For some reason, beef mince disappeared, but you could still get steaks. I mean, not as many as there normally would be, but steaks never disappeared. And for about 2 weeks, beef mince disappeared. But it's back now. It's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Frank, yes, I think the loo roll industry has made records. Alexander, the vandalism in the Melbourne church against Pell. I did see a photo of that. So someone just sprayed on a church door, "Rot in hell, Pell." And if you don't know what that's about, Cardinal George Pell, third most powerful Catholic in the world, was convicted of sexually abusing altar boys some decades ago, and then it was held up by appeals. But this week, the High Court, the final court of appeal in Australia, quashed his conviction, said the jury had made a mistake. They shouldn't have convicted him. And on a technicality, he walks free, which, if you're not angry about it, you're a piece of shit. Yes, but yes, someone sprayed on the church door, "Rot in hell, Pell." Yes. Horrible, horrible person with very, very, very bad track record of sheltering child abusers and making life miserable for the survivors of abuse at the hands of clergy. Had been followed for decades, allegations that he was an abuser as well. And then finally one allegation finally went to court and he was convicted. But yes, this week the High Court went, no, he's not. Yeah, so the legal system. Yeah. Hi there, Frank. Corona beer profit losses. Bunch of Wendy's third failing against the McDonald's quarter pounder because people's logic is 3 is less than 4, so a third is less than a quarter. I know people say that one all the time, and of course, you don't really know. It's impossible to know for sure. But I don't take that on face value because a lot of those stories like that turn out to be bullshit. And how do you know? How many people did they survey? McDonald's has still has brand loyalty, but at the time that Wendy's third pounder happened, McDonald's had fierce brand loyalty that Wendy's didn't. And hey, maybe the Wendy's product was shit. I don't know. I don't know what Wendy's burgers are like. Maybe the Wendy's product was shit. And so I'm a bit reluctant to go that way and endorse that. I don't know about double jeopardy laws, Gecko, but there's basically they weren't trying for that. But there are many other cases. There was actually another case pending when Pell was convicted, but that was dropped. And I think it was basically because the complainant in that case just went, I don't want to go through a trial. He's been convicted. I'm out. And I completely understand why they would do that. I guess there's a non-zero chance that one might be. But see, this is the thing. There had been allegations against Pell for decades, and always the police went, no, I'm not even investigating that. And it got to the point where 2 particular cases were investigated by the police, and in both cases, the police went, this is compelling. This is absolutely compelling. We definitely believe this witness, this complainant, and we think from our experience with sexual abuse and rape cases, we can get a conviction with this. And then they took it to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors did the same evaluation. And again, with both the police and the prosecutors, they don't take something to trial because they think the person they're prosecuting is guilty. They take it to trial because they believe they'll win the case. There's a world of difference. There are a huge number of cases where the cops believe a victim, but they just say, you're never getting a conviction. There's no point in continuing. And there are a huge number of cases where cops bring something to a prosecutor, and the prosecutors said, yeah, they're probably guilty, but this is never going to make it through court. And in this case, the police were convinced it was right to prosecute the case, and they had what they needed to prosecute the case. The prosecutors were convinced they could win in court. Again, it's so much more than we think the bastard's guilty. It's like we are so convinced by the compelling testimony of this witness, we believe we'll win in court. It's 2 very different things. And this a very rare case. Pell is by far the most powerful person to ever be prosecuted for crimes they committed like this. And there was no way, as I said, there's no way the police and the prosecutors were going to go ahead, not just because they thought he was guilty, but they believed the witness was compelling enough that they would win the court case. And they did, and they survived the first appeal, but lost the second appeal. So it is very complicated. Very complicated. But what we know beyond doubt, when you look at history, Pell's a piece of shit. Went out of his way to defend the worst sex offenders we've seen in Australia. Like really went to great lengths to defend the Catholic Church rather than expose and aid in the prosecution of people that were definitely guilty. He put all his effort into protecting the Catholic Church and supporting child abusers and making life miserable for the survivors of child abuse. So we know beyond any doubt he's a fucking piece of shit. But as I said, with when it first went to trial, when he was convicted, you look at it, talk to anyone who works in the realm like investigating and prosecuting sexual abuse crimes, particularly sexual abuse against minors. So you've got this powerful figure. He's a very powerful figure in a very powerful institution. And we now know beyond a doubt that institution was rife with sexual abusers from top to bottom. And the ones that maybe weren't actually sexual abusers, a significant majority of them were more interested in protecting the reputation of the institution than they were in defending the victims of abuse. Pell himself shared accommodation with the worst offender, Ridsdale, when Ridsdale was offending. He accompanied Ridsdale to court as his support before Ridsdale was convicted and, I believe, fully confessed to what he'd done. And being in charge of compensation for victims instead of actively supporting the victims again, he made their life miserable and made things very difficult for them. So if you put it to someone who works in this area of crime, you look at Pell, where he was, what he did, who he reported, and the fact that he'd been followed for decades by allegations that he himself was an abuser. And then finally one goes to court and we get a conviction. What are the chances that A, that's a wrongful conviction, and B, this was his only offense? If you talk to people who are very experienced in that, they would just say no chance at all. There's a pattern. I know he was living with Ridsdale while Ridsdale was offending, and he accompanied Ridsdale to court as his support. So what we know absolutely beyond any doubt is Pell is a miserable, vile piece of shit. Absolute fucking garbage. We know he's the fucking worst of the world. And I rate enablers and protectors of abusers as being as bad as the abusers. It's just, fuck. Yes, Frankie, you like David's burger recipe. Half kangaroo meat, half emu meat, and call it the coat of arms. Yes, that's a classic. I like that. What's tonight? Wednesday. Do I want to make a cocktail? I don't know. Oh, wait, I'm going to look up a cocktail today. Does that inspire me? What do the good people at Difford's say is the cocktail of the day? Yes, it's Buddha's birthday. It is. That was what I chose to think. A Lotus Espresso. Fuck espresso. I fucking hate coffee. Place called Lotus in Sydney. No. Why is it Picasso? Oh, it's the anniversary of Picasso's death. They're saying for him it's a picador, a forerunner of the margarita. Oh, wow. And it's the anniversary of... Man, this is more my generation. The anniversary of Kurt Cobain's body being discovered. And for him, it's a rock and rye. I'm going to have to look at what that is. What's a picador? Tequila, triple second lime. How is that different to a margarita? I'm confused. I thought that's what a margarita was. Rock and rye. Rye whiskey, obviously. Orange juice, lemon juice, maraschino syrup from the cherry jar, and cane sugar syrup. Rye and orange juice and lemon juice. Still got some fresh squeezed orange juice. I'm now confused. Because I don't really drink margaritas. Margarita, preferred recipe. What the fuck? Just want the fucking margarita. So they're saying margarita is tequila, triple sec, lime juice. Okay, with agave syrup and bitters. Okay, so that would be slightly different, and half a pinch of salt, a salt rim. Okay, that would be slightly different. That's I knew it wasn't my imagination that a margarita was tequila, triple sec, and lime juice. Oh, Noog, you're a rum and coke man. That's okay. So, okay, I wonder if there's any towns named COVID. Oh, did I disappear momentarily? Oh, well, I'm back now. It's in the news today. Yes, I did see the thing about the kids being twins named COVID and Corona, which is fucked. David, vodka and Fanta. No, there's a name for that. I like your one, a fizzy screwdriver. Yeah, some countries have limits on what you can do for a kid's name. Not America. It's free. You can call your kid anything. Other countries will say that's not a real name. You can't call your kid that. Noog, you like Bacardi Carta Fuego. Fire? Bacardi Fuego. That's spiced Bacardi rum, of course. Bacardi Carta Fuego. Hill stores. 2-bottle limit. Unavailable for delivery. Unavailable in store. Red spiced rum. Still on their website, but they don't have just 40% alcohol. Okay. Frank, in the UK, you can't use curses, ranks, or titles. You probably couldn't, even in the US, you probably couldn't call your kid motherfucker. Shelf warmer. I like that. A Doctor Who themed cocktail called the Sonic Screwdriver. I bet there is. Sonic Screwdriver cocktail. There's probably a few things called Doctor Who, the Tipsy Bartender. Vodka, blue curacao, blue raspberry mix. Right, column drinked in, Sonic Screwdriver. Okay, apparently the favoured thing, vodka and blue curacao. And in a highball, it's lemon lime soda. Yeah, okay. There's a fairly consistent recipe that's vanilla vodka and blue curacao. Which I don't have blue curacao. Curaçao's an orange liqueur. You could use Cointreau. I could put some of my blue absinthe in it. Justin, you want to know how many people called Merry Christmas? Nice. All right, so we've got an agreement that the sonic screwdriver cocktail should be blue. David, the Fanta and vodka could be a Nazi screwdriver. Fanta being a Nazi drink, which is weird when you think about it. That's a nice one, Frank. Saudi Arabia has issued a name of 50 names new parents are banned from giving their children, which include Linda, Lauren, Sandy, and Amir. That is weird, but anyway. That's what happens when I'm just saying. So I could do a variation on this. What do I want? Vodka, curacao. I was saying like vanilla. I've got like a vanilla liqueur there, liquor 43. Lemon lime soda. Yeah. No, I don't like making cocktails with soda, really. I feel like that's cheating. I could do it vodka, Cointreau, liquor 43, some blue absinthe for the blue color, and what would it be, lemon juice or lime juice? Lemon and lime juice. I could do that. Do my own version of a sonic screwdriver. It was like Echo. Did I see your comment? City's named Tolvid Blood. Of course, you lost cell reception right after you posted. Oh, okay. Do what, David? You had a friend who worked for ATO, came across a name that was Rose N. Bloom. Oh, sorry. I think Frank was joking, Initiator. In the next Expendables movie, Lee Christmas could marry a Mary. Why don't I try do my version of a sonic screwdriver? All right, cocktail shaker. Actually, I did make a lime soda with my soda stream earlier. Maybe I could do 920. No, I always think doing it with a lemon lime soda is cheating. Highballs are cheating. All right, I'm going to try a variation on this. Right, got my jigger. So, vodka. Okay, get the stupidly large. Oh no, blue. My blue vodka. That's the solution. All right, blue vodka and Cointreau. I need a little filter. Where's my filter? This. All right. I think I'm getting some components together now. Right, I want some ice. What sort of glass will I put this in? I'll put it in a coupe glass. Look fancy. All right. Coupe glass. Ice in it. Chill it. Move along the chilling. Ice in my shaker. Right. I'm going to to do lemon juice and lime juice. I might cheat and do a bit of sugar syrup as well, because I'm not going to put soda in it. Okay. Need Cointreau. Where's my Cointreau? Right. So this is a fairly simple drink. Okay. Oh, what? That's not what I wanted to do. Where am I? Okay. Yes, Adele, you like the fancy glass. Hey, Safa, how you doing? So, drinks. My blue vodka. Okay, I'm just going to do 1.5 ounces. 1.5 ounces of blue vodka. Got to strain the fruit out of it. There's all sort of fruit, dried fruit and thingies to flavor it. Cointreau. Initiate the idea if Kmart's still open. I'm honestly not sure. I know the supermarkets are still open. I don't know about department stores. I haven't checked. Right, now I'm going to do 1/2 ounce of lime juice and 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Wait, I'm going to do some sugar syrup as well. I just think it maybe only 1/2 ounce, because I don't think it needs that much. Just as I did, I thought I might regret doing that. Frank, you want to know how many people live in Chinaman's Knob? That's a personal question. Oh well, there are all sorts of weird place names in the UK. Nisha, you want a giant tub of Skittles? It's going to be your quarantine food. All right, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. I'm just making this up. This was not the cocktail recipe that I found. Fucking hell, don't do that. Right. So now we have to go shaky, shaky, shaky. Sure, if we think Burwood came up, we'll be open through a nuclear bomb. Good one, Adele. Peniston in the UK. Okay. Town of Bell End or Knob End. Yes, I think there are websites dedicated to silly and rude sounding place names. Okay, get my fancy glass. I guess it's got a bit frosty as I bring it out. Nice frosty glass. I'll just strain the ice out of this. See what color it is. It's a very light blue. It's almost green, in fact. Maybe I should put a splash of... God, yeah, see, you can tell it's green because green won't come out on this webcam for some reason. It looks like dirty water. That's actually pretty good. No, you've gone looking up the British place names. Minge Lane, Scratchy Bottom, Twat, Fanny Bark, Brown Willie. Yes. My personal favourite, and this was not even an innuendo, there was a tradition in the UK to name the streets where prostitution was practiced to call them Grope Cunt Lane. The last one was only changed quite recently. So that's not even an innuendo. That's, as Aidsy and I would say, a single entendre. So that's made it a bit more blue now. Yes, Megalish, I did fix it once. I have no idea how. Oh, that's given it a whole different character. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, David, there were actually Grope Cunt Lanes all over the UK. There was one in London, but they were all over. It was basically where the ladies of the night plied their trade would become known as Grope Cunt Lane. And look, I'm going to look it up now. There'll probably be a fun story about it. Wikipedia article, why not? Street found in English towns and cities during the Middle Ages, believed to be a reference to prostitution centered on those areas, was a normal practice for medieval street name to reflect the street's function or economic activity. The name was once common throughout England. Changes in attitude resulted in its replacement. A variation of Grope Cunt was last recorded as a street name in 1561. So there was a period of a couple of 100 years where people were perfectly happy to talk about Grope Cunt Lane. So there you go. Oh, times change, don't they? Well, this is my version of a Sonic. That looks like bloody dirty dishwater. It is actually a much more pleasant color in real life. And it tastes really good. It's probably a little bit sweet. I maybe didn't need to put the sugar syrup in, which I almost doubted myself as I did it. I might try making it again one time without the sugar syrup. Because this thing I got from Dan Murphy's add vodka to it. What are the ingredients in this? It had sugar. It had sugar in it. Dried pineapple, lemon slice, chrysanthemum, and flavors. And I shouldn't have put the sugar syrup in. I was just worried about it. Yeah, I might try making this again one day without the sugar syrup. It's good, but it's probably just a little bit sweet. Sure. You love going past a train station called Dennis. It's like calling train station Trevor. Near where I went to college in Bathurst, there were two very small towns called Barry and Neville. Now, they were clearly named after someone whose surname was Barry and someone whose surname was Neville. But, of course, Barry and Neville are both first names as well. We used to crack up just going to see Barry and Neville. It was pretty funny. David, there's a second-hand car dealership in Brisbane called Mike Hunt's Wholesale Cars. Remind me of the Reverend Spooner. Does anyone know what a Spoonerism was? It's a fictional character, the Reverend Spooner, who would mix things up. I'll find the dictionary definition: a verbal error in which speaker accidentally transposes the initial sounds or letters of two or more words, often to humorous effect, as in the sentence, "You have hissed the mystery lectures." Let's see if the Wikipedia article actually named after the Oxford. Oh, I thought it was a fictional character. The Reverend Spooner was an Oxford Don who reputedly did this. An example is saying, the Lord is a shoving leopard, instead of the Lord is a loving shepherd. Trying to find if there's any good ones. Three cheers for our queer old Dean instead of our dear old Queen. Is it customary to cuss the bride? A blushing crow instead of a crushing blow? A blushing crow instead of a crushing blow? A well-boiled icicle instead of well-oiled bicycle? You are fighting a liar in the quadrangle instead of lighting a fire? Is the bean dizzy? The Dean busy? So that's Spoonerisms. Anyway, the reason I bring up Spoonerisms is I went to school with a girl whose name was Kerry Hunt, and it would have been embarrassing if the Reverend Spooner ever met her. That's all I'm saying. That is actually pretty good. I like it when I make a drink and it's like, have a sip and go, yes, yes, What are you doing, Nook? All right, tipping cows. I think I missed something. Now we're going to get to, Fleet Street is built on top of the River Fleet. The Sydney is built on the tank stream. Still actually flows under the city through sewers. I think there's a tank stream lane in Sydney. Yes, I think it's one of those things they had to, because it was the natural flow of this waterway. If they tried to divert it, it would just be an invitation to flooding. So the tank stream still actually flows under Sydney, but through sewers. Sorry, way back, what did you say? Alexander Rudd's been active. How about Labour with Albo? Do you mean, do I like Labour with Albo? No, I think Albanese sucks. God, I'm just so fucking over Labour. They're just absolutely failing to inspire anything. They're just playing this weak as piss game. Maybe it'll be our turn next. We'll just wait. We'll just wait and be polite. Maybe it'll be our turn next. Oh, fuck that. Just their fear of, they don't want to stand for anything in case, well, what if it doesn't work? Fuck you. Shelf warmer, yes. Good on you bringing up Sonic Screwdriver. And hello to you, Defensive Wounds. How are you? It was very interesting making it with lemon and lime juice. It's got a real zing in it. Yes, quite happy with that actually. It's always good to enjoy. Do we miss the last few streams? That's okay. I do a lot of them. I actually took a break between Friday and Tuesday. Like I didn't do streams on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I came back last night and I'm here again tonight, obviously. Yes, I know I kind of said I do them every night. I've been doing them a lot. Doing it more often than not. And who knows, one day soon, AT might sort out the things that are causing him difficulty on the domestic front, and he might rejoin us because he's just had shit that was required to be sorted out for the last week. So I haven't seen him on a stream for about a week. Yes, I agree with all those statements. David, Labour in nowhere land. Catherine, they don't have the balls to win an election. And she don't have people skills. They're just completely fail to stand for anything. Although she was flawed, Gillard was their last leader who could stand for something and be inspirational and give people something to vote for. Rudd, in his lead-in, although he lost his way really badly, but Shorten just spent his entire time as opposition leader going, "I'm not that guy," which is weak as piss. And he paid the price for it. Thought he was going to win the election probably easily. Didn't happen. Yes, Initiator. Now Rudd just has arguments on Twitter. Rudd is a raging egotist, which is hardly surprising for a politician, particularly one who moved up to run the country. You have to be a rampant narcissist to go, you know what? Out of literally everyone, I'm the best person to run the country. There is nobody who's a better option than me. The level of narcissism required to think that is pretty amazing. Gecko, I did see that Motley Crue open letter to Donald Trump was pretty funny. If those of you out there, if you haven't seen it, it is worth having a look at. It's pretty funny. You're off to bed, Adele. That's fine. You're feeling flat. Go to bed. Got to look after yourself. We all have to look after ourselves these days. I'm always telling my friends, don't apologize for any little act of self-care, whether it's stepping away from work, whether it's stepping away from social media, whether it's going to bed early, whether it's sleeping in, whether it's, comfort food or something, or just binge watching trash. Any little thing you do at the moment to look after yourself is a good thing to do. Hey, Luke, how you doing, buddy? Yes, you got to make sure you're not a dual citizen. You're going to be Prime Minister. Yes, that's a big question, Frank. Should I start a political party, or as Initiator says, start a cult? See you tomorrow. Ooh, because it's Easter, so I don't have to get up early on Friday, so we can have a party Thursday night live stream, and maybe on Friday and Saturday too, and Sunday, because I don't have to go. Ooh, that would probably be bad. Don't really want to go hard 4 nights in a row. I'm old. But I think I want to see in the weekend, have a bit of a wild old time tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see. There's a chance. I'm definitely going live tomorrow. There's a chance I'll be late. Young was angry. He's making us pizza. Might make me a bit late. We'll see. I'm going to show you something other than tiki torches because America ruined them. I have to admit, I've become a bit of a fan of a guy called Robert Evans who does a few podcasts, notably one called Behind the Bastards. And he is a bit of his politics is sort of anarchisty left, very anti-authoritarian, but very left-wing. But he's into guns and weapons and prepping. He's pretty funny, and he's got a real thing for machetes. So I think we definitely don't want tiki torches as a symbol. I could probably go machetes as a symbol, though. Good and simple. David, that's a good call. Being a libertarian socialist, it's just. Actually, yeah, David, if you call yourself a libertarian socialist, I think you would probably enjoy the things this guy, Robert Evans, says. Says his political leanings towards the anarchist side of things, but he's a big believer in community and community activism and community self-protection. And he's done quite a bit of traveling to conflict zones to talk to people trying to survive in conflict zones. So he has some very interesting insights. Megalish, you think guillotines should be my symbol? No. Maybe. Pitchforks, flaming torches, traditional symbols of the underclass rising up, all these things. Frankie, who's Captain Andy? Libertarian socialist. Yeah, something savvy. Well, the pitchfork is the agrarian working class's spork, really. It's quite stabby. It's functional. And because it's multi-pronged, you can stab multiple people at once. So it's very useful. Shellform reminds you of Robert Anton Wilson and the Guns and Dope Party. If you get the gun nuts and potheads to unite. Well, again, that's fucking Robert Evans. He's a pothead and a gun nut. He's a big believer that oppressed peoples should arm themselves. He's very practical about them. Oh, there you go. Captain Andy is a YouTuber. I'm going to quickly look that up. The tubes of you. Ooh, I've got to look. Steve, the bartender, did 8 quarantine cocktails using ingredients people said they had. If I look up Captain Andy. Yeah, Captain Andy. Should anarchists vote? Huh. Nope, stop that. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Ooh, he looks like a fun guy. All right, I need to subscribe to Captain Andy and check out his videos at another date. Captain Andy looks like a fun guy. Defensive wounds. Ever used ketchup in a cocktail? No, I have not. Have you used ketchup in a cocktail? It's interesting because depending what sort of ketchup or tomato sauce, it's not just tomatoey, it's salty and sugary and maybe there's a few other things. All right, I'm going to ketchup in a cocktail. I'm going to see what comes up. See, cocktail ketchup, cocktail sauce. Would you drink this cocktail made with ketchup and Jägermeister? Jesus. That sounds a bit fucking gutter level. Let's have a look. What is this thing? The must-have, the hunter ground. What the fuck? Okay, an ounce of Jägermeister, ounce of rye whiskey, 4 ounces of ketchup. That is a lot of ketchup. 1/3 ounce of lime juice, 2/3 ounce of apricot juice, bar spoon of mustard whistle. Dude, what the fuck? That is way too much ketchup. And here's another one. 1 ounce cognac, 1/2 ounce Jägermeister, 3/4 ounce white wine, 1/2 ounce lemon juice, 1/2 ounce lavender syrup, 2 dashes fish sauce. That's fucking disgusting. No, I can't bring myself to do that. Luke, I didn't need any big bottles of alcohol. I was actually getting grocery stuff. I did get some cognac while I was there because they had good value cognac there. Yeah, Megalich, Bloody Mary uses tomato juice and Worcestershire sauce. Yeah, Megalich, I think this is a 5th category, undrinkable. If I look at that cocktail, if we leave out the ketchup, which is just an add-on, it's Jägermeister, rye, and juice. Well, that follows the spirit, liqueur, citrus. It's got spirit, rye, liqueur, Jägermeister, citrus, lime, and the other stuff is all add-ons. Really fucking weird, unappealing add-ons. Best cocktail ketchup. How to make cocktails containing tomato ketchup. There you go. From cocktail.uk. Clam juice cocktail. Okay, I want to vomit. Clam juice cocktail. What the fuck? That's just a... So that's Midori, Clamato, which is a gross American thing, a teaspoon of tomato ketchup, a dash of Tabasco, a pinch of celery salt. Oh no, that's just fucking disgusting. I can feel like I'm going to throw up just thinking about it. A prairie oyster is brandy and Worcestershire sauce and a teaspoon of ketchup and vinegar. No, those are fucking vile. Those are fucking vile. What does Complete Cocktails say about drinks made with ketchup? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the prairie oyster again. That's the brandy and Worcestershire sauce and ketchup and tomato. Yep. Okay. No, this is the work of the devil, basically. Ooh, Diffords. Diffords actually have cocktails made with thing. Okay, a prairie oyster. And they, in fact, have a non-alcoholic prairie oyster. Oh, because you put an egg yolk in there. That's the prairie oyster. Because the joke is a prairie oyster is a bull's testicle. So this is an egg yolk, malt vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, tomato ketchup, just 1 spoon of hot sauce. So yeah, you can make a prairie oyster with whatever alcohol you wanted or with no alcohol. I think we can safely say I'm not making a cocktail with ketchup. No. So if you like tomato juice, I've never really... I bet there are anchovy cocktails, Gecko. I bet there are with dried or salted anchovies. Frank, I found Captain Andy on YouTube. Are you saying Facebook? Okay, absolutely. Gecko, you have a Blendtec blender. Put in a couple bags of Skittles. It would turn them into powder or possibly into a gooey paste. A Blendtec blender would definitely pulverize Skittles. I'm not sure whether it would pulverize them into a powder or if it would actually go a bit gooey into a paste. Noog, you're hopping off. Good night. I'm hopping off soon. Full anchovy cocktail just creeps me out. I feel compelled to do a search. Bartender, there's an anchovy in my drink. Anchovy lover cocktail recipe. Of course there are anchovy drinks. So this one's got anchovy, ouzo, and lemon juice. Get fucked. Ugh, you are the devil. Whoever did that. Drinks and cocktails with anchovy paste. Ugh, what a horrible concept. I used to work in Pizza Hut, and when people ordered anchovy on the pizza, I hated them so much because there's gross, slimy, oily, hairy things. Just the worst. Okay, the only one on the Absolute site is a version of a Bloody Mary. What does it say? Okay, a Bloody London. So it's got Absolute vodka, mustard, Worcestershire sauce, anchovy paste, tomato juice. No, see, ew, gross. I'm going to vomit. I'm going to vomit. Add-ons like kick. Look, I would make like a dessert cocktail. I've got some, chocolate liqueurs and stuff. I make a few variations on dessert cocktails that I'd stick a Kit Kat or even a bit of a Tim Tam in as a fucking garnish. Because why the hell not, quite honestly? Oh, God. Nicholas is a spam cocktail serving a spam can. Of course they is. Oh, God. Luke, what's a horse cheese cocktail? I don't know, man. Doesn't sound good, though. What does Dr. Google tell us? Horse jizz cocktail. Horse jizz. It's beer and milk. Okay. Gross. What does this one say it is? Yeah, it's beer and milk. Horse jizz is beer and milk, which absolutely disgusting. Okay, and it's listed on a listicle called 12 Disgusting Alcoholic Drinks We Dare You to Try. We triple dog dare you. Mac and cheese shot, macaroni, milk, Velveeta, cheese rum, which is powdered cheese mix in rum. No. Okay, I'm not doing that. Chicha. Corn and saliva? Latin American corn-based beer is traditionally created by using human saliva to break down. So you spit in it? Oh my God, smoker's cough is Jägermeister and mayonnaise. So it looks like something a smoker coughed up. Prairie chicken, gin, egg yolk, salt and pepper. Yeah. Gilpin family whiskey. Gilpin takes the urine of 2 diabetic patients, extracts the high sugar content, uses that sugar in the fermentation of whiskey. Fucking hell, yeah. Horse jizz is milk and beer. Oh, I've heard of this. Baby mice wine. It's a rice wine, a traditional health tonic in Chinese and Korean cultures that baby mice are taken shortly after birth, eyes still closed, dropped alive into a jug of rice wine. Wine is left to ferment. After the wine is imbibed, the mice are eaten. Cool. Eggmeister is just Jägermeister and a pickled egg. Tapeworm, which I've heard of, that's vodka, Tabasco sauce, and mayonnaise. Infected. Now I do feel sick. Infected whitehead shot, vodka, Bloody Mary mix, and cottage cheese. Snake bile wine, which is actually bile extracted from live cobra with rice wine. Ugh. The Kim Jong-un nuclear bomb is a Big Mac, large fried, McDonald's large fried, McDonald's barbecue sauce, McDonald's milkshake, McDonald's apple pie, and vodka. You throw all those food items into a blender and add vodka. Yep. Oh, why am I doing stuff that makes me feel sick just before going to bed? Honestly. Okay, you've got another hour of driving to get home. Oh, gosh. Ugh. Tim Tam's crushed up, I would definitely add to one of my dessert cocktails, defensive wounds. I got this white chocolate with strawberry flavor liqueur. Might do that this weekend, actually. Now you've made me feel all funny and weird with all these gross things. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna bid you fine people farewell. Hope you all look after yourself. Hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, one and all. Look after yourself physically and mentally. Be good, and I will see you again soon. But I'm going to say bye for now.